G'day and welcome to Season 3 of Harvestable by AgriDigital. Join co-founders Emma Weston and Ben Reed on this 8-part mini-series as they delve into the transformative power of data in agribusiness, exploring AI's impact, supply chain transparency, and the future of data-driven grain management. In this episode, we're thrilled to be joined by Marc Lefebvre, Chief Technology Officer at ClearDox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Harvestable for Season 3. Can you believe it? And harvest is already upon us. So we are well underway in Australia with the grains harvest. This year at Harvestable, as you know, we're focusing in on data and AI. And to kick things off, I have the most fantastic guest to get us started. Welcome, Marc Lefebvre, CTO at ClearDox. Welcome to Harvestable.
Well, thanks, Emma. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really enjoyed my time when I was at the Grains Convention in Australia, and I'm really happy to go into more detail on what ClearDox does and how we leverage AI.
I think we definitely need to do that. And so, yes, for everybody that doesn't know, Marc and I last were together at the Australian Grains Industry Conference, which was in July in Melbourne. We had a fantastic panel, which was also focused on AI. So if you missed that, there may be some recordings or somewhere else that you can find it. But Marc, first of all, where are you at the moment? Everyone can hear your American accent. You're not in Australia with me now. Where are you at the moment?
So I am currently in Connecticut in the United States and just flew in from Chicago last night, where we're very happy to say we won the Innovators Award at the FIA conference.
And that is fantastic. Congratulations. The ClearDox team must be absolutely pumped about that.
Yeah, there was a lot of great companies there. Out of the 24 that submitted, we were chosen as the top one, the top innovators, and it's specifically from our use of and applying artificial intelligence to the commodity space. So the judges were really impressed with how we're making an impact on the industry.
Yeah, and if I have got this right, FIA used to be known as the Futures Industry Association, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And you know, even though they're really geared towards futures and the exchanges, it's all related to the physical commodities market. So there's a lot of interconnection there.
Okay, we need to draw breath and pull up. I think it's fantastic that we have you on the show. ClearDox is in the news, which is awesome as well. But could you first of all just give us a brief bio, I guess, a little bit of history about you, Marc, and how you came to be at ClearDox?
Sure. So I've been working as a developer in the commodities industry for over 20 years. So I started off in the back office, so I'm very intimately aware of all of the challenges and data that needs to be processed at a commodities company, specifically from the back office perspective. ClearDox was conceived within an energy trading merchant, and it was really solving a very, very specific, very practical problem. They were doing multiple deliveries of crude oil during the fracking period, and they were receiving literally thousands of paper tickets, truck deliveries. All of them were handwritten, and they were hiring teams of people to process all the data. ClearDox was conceived to automate the entire digitization of those documents. We looked to see what technologies were available on the market, and none of them understood commodities. None of them could solve the overall problem that we were looking to achieve. And that's really where ClearDox was born. It was born out of that practical need and has since grown into a commercial company. We started in 2019. We were incorporated. We got our first customers in 2021. We've grown to over 16 different companies using the platform today. And we're constantly evolving, especially in the field of AI.
That is so fantastic. And we are really proud to have an association with ClearDox in that we share information with each other. We are similarly focused on grain. ClearDox doesn't just do, energy commodities, but also looking at agricultural commodities as well. So I just thought you were the perfect guest to come on the show, Marc.
Great.
Let's kind of go back to pre-2019 when ClearDox started, but going back a few years, what were the commodities industries dealing with in terms of data? And you talked a little bit to paper and manual. Is that the main use case for bringing digitization into this industry?
Yeah, so I say it really starts with getting the data. So a lot of data that comes into the back office in particular, it could also be front office, middle office, but back office is really prone to lack of automation, lack of standards. And once we started looking at all of the manual processes that were coming in, we really saw the need for automation, and particularly around digitizing unstructured data. So as you can imagine, not only truck deliveries or truck tickets are coming in a paper format, you're also getting invoices. You might be getting confirmations. You could be processing letters of credit. In the grains domain, you might be getting your farmers' settlement reports. All of these are coming from a fragmented mix of vendors and counterparts, each one with their own format. And there really wasn't any solution out there to automate that. So we really built a very dynamic, intelligent platform that leverages machine learning, natural language processing to first digitize the data. Once the data has been digitized, we then run it through our reconciliation validation process. But ultimately, this data needs to flow into these downstream trading platforms or accounting systems so that the data can be processed per each organization's unique mix of systems.
Yeah, there's so much to pick up on that. So first of all, we've got this industry that we work in, and AgriDigital, we're focused on the grains industry, of course, where there is diverse pieces of information, essentially. So all this different data in different forms from different sources, coming in at different times, not in a standardized format necessarily, but that has to be somehow unified into a series of processes and workflows in order to manage our operations within the supply chain. So when we're looking at the digitization component, what do we really mean when we say we're digitizing data? What does that simply mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. Digitization really means a lot of different things. The way that we look at it is we're not only taking the actual text off these documents, we're actually putting that text into a meaningful context for your organization. So for example, let's say you're processing grains delivery receipts into a transload facility. Not only do you need to understand what's being delivered on the data that's coming in, you also need to understand where that data or that receipt fits into your overall organization of information within your trading system. So let's say you get 10 different delivery receipts. You need to now equate that over to the contracts upon which those deliveries were requested. So it's not just digitization, it's actually putting the data into context as well.
So it's digitization as well as organization, and then being able to make sense of this organized data that's now in a standard form, and also being able to move that data across platforms into different applications to create different reports and insights. Is that one way of looking at it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if you look at the big picture, you're taking this external data from all these antiquated systems by these various vendors and counterparts. You now need to digitize it, organize it, and then flow it into the systems of your organization. And every organization runs differently. They may have different trading systems, different accounting systems. They have different workflows. So we really tried to give a framework that was very adaptable and can integrate with anything. But at the same time, we needed to really have the power of artificial intelligence, and even more recently, generative AI to perform the digitization that was required to process that diverse set of data.
Okay, so you've brought up the AI term, which we really wanted to get to. Where does artificial intelligence come in, and what is, maybe you can answer this in kind of one go, or think of some examples for me and for our listeners. But how does just general AI, if you like, differ from generative AI? What do we mean by those terms?
So there's a lot of buzzwords going around. There's a lot of terms. At its core, artificial intelligence is really the blanket around generative AI, machine learning, natural language processing. Generative AI is really a specific flavor of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is really just automating your machine to do a certain task. And within that, you can apply machine learning, which is really the training process of your machine in order to do that task. Natural language processing is really around text-based. So machine learning could be applied to robotics, it could be applied to images, but natural language processing and generative AI is really around text. So you're really looking to automate either the extraction of text from something that's unstructured. And generative AI really brings a whole new side to artificial intelligence where you can actually generate text from text that you've prior seen.
And so in terms of this generating of text, I mean, really what we're generating is new forms of data as well, right? Like we're actually adding to the data pool with generative AI.
Absolutely. So this is actually a really new concept that a lot of companies are looking to leverage. We're looking at it, for example, to help generate legal documents. So you may have a contract with a particular company. You may have certain terms or certain clauses on there that you want to include. So we're looking at providing prior examples that company has generated before, and then generate new contracts based on samples they've already sent. So generative AI is really a new field, really exciting, and I think we're going to find a lot of uses for it.
I think so too. Some of the things that we're doing at AgriDigital that are just, very simple, but using artificial intelligence are even just internally, like generating notes of a meeting and action lists and lists of decisions. Being able to do that quicker and faster, and obviously cheaper as well than if we had a person who was focused in on that, which means that, our people can be focused much more on higher end problem solving, dealing with customers, of course, product development, some of the kind of higher end tasks that are part of, the everyday at AgriDigital. Is that what you're seeing with your customers as well?
Yeah, and so generative AI is so new that we haven't really honed in on the use cases that the customers aren't requesting it at this point. But we do see it as you've mentioned, pervasive throughout almost your everyday routines now. I mean, our head of marketing is using generative AI to produce marketing slides. So I think that field is so new. We're still exploring exactly what's our go-to market there. We're really at this point focused on the other piece of AI, which is the data extraction and categorization. And that's where the companies are coming to us again and again on specific use cases to actually automate processing of their data. So, for example, we have a StoneX, who's a grains company that is leveraging ClearDox. And during their harvest season, they typically hire temporary people to keep up with the demand on the flow of data that they need to process. And now that they have ClearDox, they didn't have to hire any additional workers during their harvest season. We can process all of their grains receipts or truck delivery receipts going into their facilities. And we've really automated and made a huge impact on their efficiency for processing.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And, look, I hope that, we'll be able to jointly share some of the experimentation that we're looking at doing in the space as well, with your and our customers, because I think it is a really exciting space. So, data's old. AI has been around for a long time, but not necessarily in the way that it's being used now. The newer forms of AI, like generative AI, are still it's quite early days. If you were thinking about what's next for the grains industry in particular, or what we might see, in the next couple of years coming to the fore in the grains industry, what might be a couple of use cases that you might see emerging, particularly in grain?
Yeah. So again, I think it comes down to the supply chain. From what we've seen a very fragmented market in terms of the vendors that are being used. A lot of them don't have the technical capabilities of really delivering data in an automated fashion. So all the way from, the way that the contracts are being drawn up and data is being exchanged throughout for the counterparties, to all of the reports that you're getting throughout the entire supply chain. So, for example, you're getting delivery notices from your trucking companies. You're getting inventory reports that may be Excel-based from your facilities where the product is being delivered into. You may have a separate PDF file on an inspection report. So really what we're seeing is the processing in terms of just taking all of this unstructured data, normalizing it, and automating the processing of that into each organization's internal systems.
Marc, thanks so much for giving us some insights there. It really feels like that we're still on quite a journey in the grains industry. It's still relatively early days. For anyone who's feels like they're at the beginning of this journey, I think that's absolutely fine. It's you and so many others, that are going through this in terms of that journey. Obviously, there are some parts of the supply chain that are more advanced than others, but I think what we'd like to be able to say to people out there is to start thinking about their data, thinking about how it's organized, thinking about how it can be leveraged into other parts of their business, and to even kind of get that really understood and advanced, before even perhaps getting to the artificial intelligence component, because it sounds like there's going to be plenty of time for that.
Absolutely. So we're excited to be in this field. It's rapidly evolving, and we're finding that there's an education process throughout the customer realm, but very receptive. We have a lot of open ears at this point to the capabilities and how we can improve each organization.
Marc, thanks so much. When do you think you'll be back in Australia?
Well, I've been traveling the world this year. I'm hoping to get back maybe next year. So we
hope that we're going to see you again sometime soon. Marc Lefebvre, thanks very much, and thanks for sharing what ClearDox is doing and some of your views on data and the way AI is going to impact the grains industry.
All right, thank you very much, Emma. It was enjoyable to do this chat.
Yeah, thanks, Marc. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Harvestable by AgriDigital. We hope you found value in today's conversation. Join us next week as we delve deeper into the world of agribusiness and data. Until then, stay curious and keep harvesting insights.